Hello ladies and gents, and welcome to Do You Know Battlefield 1 Episode 1, quickfire tips and tricks for the modern man and woman. On the surface, Battlefield 1 is a pretty easy game to pick up and have fun with, but there are still obvious and not so obvious things you can do and learn that can improve your game that maybe you weren't aware of. I'm here to fix that, so let's get stuck in. Do you know that you can actually dive on top of a frag grenade to reduce the damage it will do to you? Bizarre, but we tested this several times and it appears to be the case. In a normal situation, a frag grenade landing next to you in close proximity will kill you even if you're on full health. However, if you dive on top of it with 100 health, it won't kill you outright and you'll be left with around 5 to 10%. Try it out for yourself. I guess that means that sometimes if you're in a situation where you can't run away from a grenade and on full HP, the only way to survive would be to dive on top of it. Intriguing really, isn't it? Do you know that you can crouch slide in BF1? When sprinting, if you hit the crouch button, you'll do a small slide. This is especially good for when you're trying to get behind cover to help make you a harder target to hit. It can also be useful if you're out in the open and someone starts shooting at you. Just try sliding around a bit to throw the enemy's aim off. In close quarters fights as Assault, sliding around corners can make you a very hard target to hit. It looks a bit odd, but it certainly works well, plus historical records tell us that soldiers would slide around corners during combat in World War I all of the time. Like I said, you can slide forward, but also left and right. Give it a try, it's more useful than you think. Next, something very useful with the barrage bomber loadout on the bomber plane. Do you know that when you go into the camera view you can press 3 to take a photo of the entire area underneath you? Well, you can, and after it makes a little camera noise it will spot everyone it sees. Extremely useful to find enemies for a second strafing run and for your teammates on the ground. There are a couple of maps in the game with locked doors. Well, you can blow them open with certain explosives if you can't get in, such as the rocket gun. Now, onto bayonets. Firstly, let me clarify something that we've touched on before. Bayonet charging in a straight line to get somewhere faster does not work over long distances. I see a lot of players bayonet charging in the open to try and get somewhere faster. But if you've got two players side by side, one who's charging and one who is sprinting, the charging player will get an initial burst of speed, but because of the cooldown on the sprint, he ends up being slower over long distance. Don't use it to get somewhere faster unless you're using it to utilise that initial burst of speed to get behind cover, in which case it can still be useful. Also, something very important which not a lot of people know about bayonets because it isn't actually said in the game, they have a negative effect when equipped on a weapon. Most people have them because I guess they're pretty cool and bayonet charging is fun, but what you aren't told is that they do have downsides. If you've got a bayonet equipped, then the time it takes you to ADS after sprinting is actually increased as well as recoil. It's worth knowing so you can decide what suits your playstyle, especially if you don't use the bayonet much but you are still dealing with the negative effects. For me personally, most of the time I like to take it off. Hey, guess what? You've got a gas mask. Press T to use it on PC and up on the D-pad on console. It will stop you from taking damage in enemy gas, but remember, you won't be able to aim down the sight whilst wearing it. Also worth knowing is that friendly gas will suppress you and prevent healing while standing in it, so not wearing a mask is dangerous. Put it on or get the hell out of there as soon as possible. Do you know that if you're playing as any of the elite classes, you can regain health much faster by having a medic drop you a healing bag? More importantly, with the Tank Hunter and Sentry, don't forget that you can resupply ammo too. So if you play carefully and watch your health, you can hold on to the kit for most of the game and knock out some insane kill streaks and flag caps. When you die, if there are medics nearby, it will show you in the bottom left of the screen and tell you how far away they are. Wait for them to revive you if they're close. What's interesting is that in BF1, as long as you stay in this death screen, you can be revived. I've waited ages in it before and been pleasantly surprised when a medic ran up to me and stuck me with a needle of life. Eventually though, the game does automatically take you back to the deploy screen. These gates on Ballroom Blitz, mass murderers, let me tell you. If you can coerce a tank into driving underneath one of these gates, you can kill it in one blow by using the switch here and dropping the gate on top of it. I bet they weren't expecting that one. A tip for mortars now, if you want to spam the shots, you can actually stay in the mortar view by continuously clicking fire. This will give you effective rapid follow-up shots in the same location. However, if you want to skip the overhead view after you've fired a shot, you can do that by pressing the aim button to go back to the firing position to aim another shot. Do you know that if you've got a good enough shot, you can actually shoot gunners out of the gondoliers in the airship? On some maps like Monte Grappa, it's a lot easier because of how low down the airship is. Give it a shot and see if you can kill a few to stop them raining down hell on you. Scout gadgets next. Shield, kinda useless. Head on a stick, also kinda useless, but it will outline spot an enemy player that shoots at it though, so could be useful in certain situations. The periscope gadget, on the other hand, actually very useful. It spots people and gives them a juicy outline for your team to see, and you can use it safely from behind cover. So get behind cover, use the periscope, and boom, you can spot safely without putting yourself at risk. Flares as well for the scout class, also extremely useful. They spot people in a radius on the minimap, but you can set enemies on fire with flares and even kill them too. Sometimes if you're in a pinch and don't have any grenades to flush an opponent out, shoot a flare next to them and watch them run around screaming maniacally on fire. Glorious. They can also be used as a deterrent or area denial. If you need to camp in a building for a few seconds to regain health or reload, put one of them on the floor nearby the door and it will actually deter enemies from running through to kill you. If you need ammo or health and there aren't any support or medic players around, you can jump on a nearby unoccupied horse and just do it yourself. They've got ammo and health bags, remember. On PC, just press 3 and 4, and on console, use the D-pad. You don't have to spawn in as a cavalry class to do this either. Very useful, and it can get you out of a sticky situation, that one. Another tip, if you're on fire from a flamethrower dude or incendiary or flare, whatever it is, don't sprint, you're going to take way more damage. Instead, just go prone for a second. It puts out the fire faster and you will take less damage. Wait for your health to stop ticking down and you're good to go. Something more for vehicles now. Remember, this is very important, and when you're in the tanks, the first and third person cameras are not always the same. If you're using the third person camera, say with the howitzer machine gun for the most part, it's going to work fine. However, if you go between first and third person, you'll notice there is a small discrepancy, and so if you're behind a small wall or some cover, you may not actually be hitting your enemy in third person because your actual tank cannon is being blocked by the cover. So for those precision shots, try to use first person as much as possible to make sure that you're always shooting where you think you are. Lastly for today, an operations tip. If you're attacking and you take the sector, you've probably seen that enemy players get spotted. Well, do you know that if you kill them before they escape, you actually get extra tickets? That's right, killing them grants you extra tickets for attack, so if you see those enemies spotted, it's definitely worth trying to get to them before they make a quick exit and retreat. On the flip side, if you're defending and manage to retreat successfully, your health and ammo will be instantly replenished. And that's all for episode 1 of Do You Know Battlefield 1. I hope you enjoyed it and learnt something new. If you did, give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. Subscribe for more tips and tricks, and I'll see you in the next one.